Hello and welcome back to StarCraft II. So, I'm playing a ladder game again, as you can see. I'm still playing Zerg, right there, that's me. I'm playing against Chronologist. Is that it? Am I even saying that? I don't know. A Terran player, and we're on Backwater Gultch. This is one of the maps that I have not practiced very much. Very little, in fact. And, I don't know, I'm just not that comfortable on it. When I play ladder, I don't really downvote any of the maps that are in the selection. I try to just keep them all there. If I get the same one over and over, that's just too bad. If I get one I don't like, that's too bad as well. I think you should be able to play all the maps, regardless of like whether you're good at them or not. I never downvote ones I think are bad for Zerg or whatever, anything like that. And so just, yeah, I think because you'll get into a situation where you're forced to play a map one day, and if you don't know it, then you're going to be at a disadvantage. So anyway, that's just a bit of what I think about it. As you can see, this is in first person view again, that you see in my actions on your screens right now, and I'm gonna mix this one up a little bit. So you'll see in a little bit, at about, I don't know, in a couple of minutes in basically, I'm gonna switch over to replay, and then I'm gonna look at the game in the replay mode from there. And I'm not gonna spoil it this time, don't worry, I won't spoil it. I won't give you any results, but I will say that I did a few things right and a few things wrong. I wasn't totally happy with this game. As most of my games are, I'm never really happy with them. I tend to scout a little bit earlier. I like knowing what my opponent is doing, but in this case you'll see the scout was sort of botched up anyway. And yes, that's WoW in the background. So I was going to go for a standard-ish fast expand here. I got my drone off on 14. I was a little bit slow with it, with getting the expansion down, but I feel it was okay. It's acceptable, like 20 or 30 minerals too far, and then I misplaced it anyway, so silly me. And I don't know if it's the right thing to do, getting a drone in between when I get my spawning pool and when I throw down the hatchery, but I do it anyway, just to get a bit more of an economical boost, because I know I'm going to transfer some of the drones down a little bit, and they're going to be off mining for a while, and having more is never a bad thing with Zerg. So the first thing, I knew he was a Terran here, and I was sort of weary of the fact that they usually do some sort of bunker rush if they scout that you fast expanded. Now I'm not sure if he actually scouted my expansion here, but I did obviously see his SCV. Then I saw his ramp and I thought I'd try cause some mischief here, but it didn't work. Okay, I wasn't paying attention, and he got his ramp blocked anyway. And this is the kind of place where I thought to myself, like, it would have really worked out well if I had 10 pulled. But I didn't, so then I could have maybe blocked got my drone in the way there and stopped him from walling off and got my Zerglings in. But then I didn't get my drone out in time anyway, so that whole thing didn't work out. So another thing I didn't see there is I didn't see if he was getting gas, because he only had one barracks up, not two yet. So he could well have had one gas. He could have been going for a fast expand build. I don't actually know, but he could have been doing a lot of different things, and I didn't really check. Then, bam! I see his bunker there, and I was already. I mean, immediately I start panicking about that. But I was going to throw down these spine crawlers anyway, and I want to say I was sort of happy with the placement that I chose. The first one was too far forward, okay, because the bunker would have completed first. I didn't expect the marine to be there as fast as that, but the back one, as you'll see in just a second, was pretty much perfect. So I wanted to have this little bit of the game in first-person view, so you could just see what I was doing there. I was panicking now, obviously, but my spawning pool was done. My queen was finished. I was going to take her down there to help. My second queen at my natural was also finished. So I don't know. I wasn't feeling too threatened yet, and my spine crawler was going to go up, and I could see that it was in fact in range. So I don't know. I was happy with what was going on here at the moment. It wasn't too bad. If anything, he'd probably get out a lot worse than me here. So my Zerglings got here. I actually lost one carelessly there. Not too bad yet. I don't know. I'm really bad at using hold position. That's one of the keys I think everyone should know how to use. Then I just sort of shuffled things around a bit. Again, getting supply capped here. Like, that's one of my banes at the moment. I get supply capped very quickly, very often. That's something I should really work on. Same thing with my larva injects, not being on time. I could have been injecting larva right now. I did, but it was a bit late. My main is also not being injected at the moment. But yeah, I think I handled this reasonably well, and then I thought to myself, okay, those marines have to go somewhere when that bunker dies, so I got my Zerglings around the back. What I would have liked to have done now, I know a lot of you said play Banishiwa style, but I would have liked to have actually got my gas out a little bit sooner than I did there. I would have liked to actually have had speed now, so I could counterattack. because running over there to his base with these non-speed Zerglings, just normal Zerglings that run incredibly slowly, well, not incredibly slowly, but slow enough, wouldn't have really worked out. I wouldn't have gotten in there in time. I wouldn't have been able to do really much damage. He would have had a couple of Marines out already. So, you know, it just didn't work out for me. I might have actually produced too many Zerglings. I could have probably fit a few extra drones in there somewhere. And from this point out, I think I could have also saturated my mineral lines a little bit quicker than I did. It's not major. It's nothing bad. I think I did okay. And as you can see, I took the advice from the previous video and actually got one gas at each base this time to split the risk, I think someone said. So if there was Banshees on the way now, it would have worked out a little bit better. But let's move on to the replay now and just have a look at what's going on there. So here we are in the replay. I just repelled his attack. I was feeling pretty good about that, but at the same time, I don't know, I wasn't sure if I should attack or not. I'm pretty glad that I didn't. I've got a problem with when I play games, I'm usually way too passive. I hang around my base and I sort of macro up and turtle up at the same time, as much as I possibly can with Zerg at least. And I'm just not way too passive basically. So I spotted these Helions coming out. I did know that he had them, and looking at the counting, let me just pause quickly here. Looking at the unit counts, he actually had more SCVs than me at the moment. He had 26 SCVs. I only had 23 drones. I did have my my base up already, so my expansion was up, his wasn't. My income would probably be higher than his soon enough. So what I wanted to do, and that was just like, you know, what I want and what I actually do are always generally two different things. It's just never works out the way I wanted, but I would have preferred to, on 2 base, already kill him. So what I think I should have done here, which I didn't do, is I should really have gotten some roaches out. It's one of the units that I actually don't like using, but like I do prefer Zerglings. Just the mobility, the speed, the uses of a Zergling are actually quite numerous. It's nice that you can get that map control with them, stuff like that. But I should have had the roaches already now, because I feel that roaches against what he has now, which is just Helions and Marines and a couple of Medvacs, would have been deadly. I would have pretty much destroyed the guy. Now I could see that I was going to keep these Helions away, no problem. He wasn't even going to try attack. I spotted them coming towards the Zelnaga in just a second or two, and I didn't, like, I just moved my Zerglings away and pretty much just stayed out of their way, because I don't want to lose Zerglings for nothing. Now, I finally got my speed out, and my thinking here was just to max up on the gas, and then, if I could, go for Mutalisks again. I don't know, it's sort of my go-to strat, just getting Mutalisks and Zerglings. And then, if he goes for sort of a heavy infantry army, then I get a lot of Banes out, and it tends to work pretty well. That's sort of what I like to do. I just love Banelings, okay? And Mutalisks too. I like harassing with them and stuff like that, which I didn't do very well in this game either. So you can see my spires going up. 12 drones coming out. Wow. I'm actually just as hard as I can macroing up here, trying to just get at least a decent income, some nice gas coming in. There goes the Baneling nest. So I was sort of just assuming, if you look at my view right now, then it wasn't, I didn't see very much of what he had. I didn't know he expanded it, but I just assumed he would. Okay, I was about to break through these rocks and go and look, but my assumption was that he expanded, and I did think that he'd continue getting more Marines, because that's just how Terrans usually play. The last few games I played against Terrans have been Marine Tank, and this is Marine Tank. Hey, big surprise. And now I have to say right off the bat, he is much more organized than me. Just looking around at what he's doing, his timing, so much better than mine. He's pushing out at a perfect time. Well, in my opinion, okay, it was very bothersome because he's pushing out just before his siege tech is finishing, and he's just timing his attacks well. Now I'm just running in here to have a look what's going on. I checked that he actually did have his expansion up, as I thought. He didn't have very many units here, but I did spot that over there with my Overlord. So as you can see, big army here, bit of a panic for me. So I was sort of ready. I wasn't stressing too much yet. I had a lot of these spine crawlers up. My Baneling nest had finished, and I had a bunch of Mutalisks coming out too. So I could have handled this a bit better. The next few minutes maybe. What I wanted to do here was just sort of keep him busy, and it did. Look, this is what you do with Zerg. This is one of the great powers of having Speedlings out. The counterattack, the dreaded counterattack. Now, if you look at the units lost tab, I sort of equalized it out a bit. I did okay. I mean, I was losing a lot of Zerglings here, but I was keeping him busy. He sort of decided he had had enough of it, then he pushed out again on his own. But by that time, I think I was pretty much prepared for it. I'm getting a lot more Zerglings out here, and I think I was using Zerglings where I should really have had a couple of roaches. Zerglings are a lot more expendable. Sure, you expect to lose them, but I feel that if I had roaches, I would have had a lot more after these engagements, a lot more ready and waiting to use. So my banelings came out at a pretty decent time here. He was keeping himself busy with my creep tumors, and that's another thing I didn't do right in this game. I could have spread the creep a lot faster, so I was happy with that. I got time to get my banelings out. I should have started baneling speed earlier. I should have got a bunch more overlords out because I was in fact supply capped and in the red. Not good. And I should have maybe just spent these minerals a bit quicker. Another thing is, obviously, I'm at 14 minutes now if you look at the time over there, and I probably should have thought about expanding already. Sure, I might have actually been thinking about it, but I didn't do it. And then the panic overlords coming out 8 at a time. That's overkill, but it did at least get me way above the 100 mark, and I was sort of getting ready. Now, you can see over here I'm throwing down an infestation pit, and I'm sort of preparing for the attack. Nearly got myself a medvac there, but getting more banelings out, and that's just, I love banelings, okay? There's no two ways about it. Banelings are the best Zerg unit. That's it. They're hands down the most fun to use. And what I did here, I was actually pretty happy with what I did. I brought my queens out, and I started transfusing this crawler, the spine crawler here, just to keep him busy for a little while. And I was really happy with that. As you can see, it kept him busy. I got a ton of banelings out here. And, okay, stopping right here. I know, again, you guys hate it, but I'm going to pause anyway because I want to talk about this. This is the kind of position where I think to myself, I didn't know about this. Okay, let's just put that from your mind. I didn't know about those units over there. But having a look at this army, I thought to myself, I am going to destroy this so easily. I didn't think that he'd in any way be able to stop what I was doing here. But this is the point where, I'm paused again. This is the point where I really should have sort of thought about the counter-attack, and I didn't. I mean, I had so many banelings here that I could, as you can see, just throw them away on the tanks without any problems. Another thing I really wasn't happy with here was the fact that I didn't control my mutalisks well. Now, if I had to switch to my view here, then you'd probably see that I was busy macroing. I was trying to do things, I was trying to get stuff organized, but I could have had those mutalisks, I could have waypointed them to attack these. Sure, I might have engaged these marines with a lot more mutalisks and lost more, but I might have gotten those medevacs down a bit faster. So this is where I should have maybe thought about either being more aggressive or immediately expanding. And have a look, once again, I decided to expand. And I didn't expand only once, I expanded twice. I'm not sure if those are the best expansions. This one might have actually been a better idea, but I felt that if he had destroyed these rocks, moved up onto this high ground here, it would have just been like shooting fish in a barrel. It would have been terrible. This would have been the barrel over here, and my drones would have been the fish. And obviously his siege tanks would have... Okay, that's enough. I've had enough of that one now. So, getting baneling speed out. Those hatcheries are going up. I'm getting a macro hatch in my base as well. I'm managing my minerals, my income, stuff like that pretty well. I was happy that I saw with my mutalisks he hadn't expanded. I should have been harassing a bit more. He only had one turret on this side. I could have probably done some damage here. I could have attacked up here. If I had even moved up down a little bit further, I would have spotted this command center. That would have been huge. And I shouldn't have lost those mutalisks. Damn, Swin. Okay, so there were things that I should have done, which I didn't do. He was adamant at attacking. I thought to myself, okay, this is going to be 2 base. He's just going to sort of all in me from here. And I was okay with it. I liked defending where I was here. I had a nice setup. I had my queens ready. I had a lot of banelings. My mutalisks were on the way down. He didn't know my expansions were up. At least I assumed he didn't. I thought to myself, let's go for it. I just charged in once again. And look at those kills. That is every Zerg's dream. A bunch of empty medvacs. No marines to heal there. Sorry, buddies. Head on home. I once again could have done a bit better with the mutalisks, but hey, it's okay. It's not too bad. So hatcheries are going to start going up now, and then as you can see in just a second or two, what I'm going to do is again decide not to attack. And as you can sort of imagine by now, that's why I sort of chose the title that I had. Finish it already, because that's just how I play. I end up just being so passive that I want to get 14 more drones out, and I think, if I remember correctly, I waypointed them all up to the top base. Yes, so this base would have been saturated pretty quickly after that. And that's not bad. I mean, sometimes it's good for Zerg to play like that. But again, you can see I'm actually behind in the supply now. In the income, I'm going to pull ahead soon. Okay, I'm not ahead now, but when those drones get there, we'll be slightly ahead. Again, he's got these, his first base is run out, but he's got these mules, he's got this expansion going up here. I don't know, I just feel like I should have attacked earlier. You guys can let me know what you think. Let me know if I handled this as well as I possibly could have. I was stressing, as I said again, I wasn't making the right choices. I should have got more unit upgrades. I'm going to look what he's got now. He's got 1-0 on his Marines. He probably could have done a little bit better there too. The fact that he's only getting stim now is also pretty silly. I think stim could have saved him from a lot of pain from my banelings. But, you know, we all make mistakes, and I think he's diamond level as well. I'm in diamond if you didn't know. So yes, so I got my infestation put out a while ago. I should have probably used it a bit sooner. He did a nice little drop here. I moved my entire army down to deal with it, which was a bit of a mistake. He should have probably focused down the infestation pit, but he didn't as fast as he could have. But yes, my entire army, needless to say, was on their way. I dealt with it pretty quickly, pretty needlessly. I mean, I shouldn't have used them all to deal with it, but again, okay, I should have maybe got a couple of infestors out, because that could have allowed me to push for myself. You know, if I can push out, just fungal a couple of his Marines, it'll probably waste his medvacs energy, while at the same time wasting, holding them still so I could use my banelings. So I finally got them out, but still, I'm hanging around my base. He's pulling ahead in supply once again. So in that sense, I think I did okay to handle what I was doing. You can see I'm getting a ton of gas in now, and the amount of gas that I was getting in here, I just wasn't spending it, which was a big problem again. And yes, this is a pretty long game. I'm sorry. I'm just so bad at handling this. He's going for another drop. I think, if I remember correctly, I did spot this one coming in, and I dealt with it a little bit faster. I did also have these infestors up by the time the drop came, so it was a little bit easier to deal with. Now, when I moved these Mutalisks over here, I did spot this planetary fortress, and I wanted to sort of stay away from that. Planetary fortresses are really easy to take out if you just waste a lot of banelings on them, but at the same time, they're a bit of a pain. Okay, if you engage there and you're not sort of, I want to say ready for it. You should obviously be ready if you engage in there, but if you engage there and you don't watch what you're doing, you can lose a lot more than you should. Okay, so switching back to everyone's view here, he's doing sort of the same as me, 3 bases at the moment, but you know, I've got 4. Okay, needless to say, he's still mining more than me. Have a look at the income. That's just how Terran is. Okay, damn those mules. Did he have more harvesters? He also had more harvesters than me, so I was going for a macro game and I wasn't even macroing harder than him. That is so silly. I don't actually know how I won this. Now, if I just draw your attention to the top of the screen here, that is just scary. Okay, that's just scary. Because I had so much, I decided now, and yes, I'm walking you through my whole thought process. I'm not that great at shoutcasting, so I thought I'd just do that. Because I had so much, I thought, you know, why not throw it away, but throw myself at him, be Zergish. Before I max myself out, he's in fact maxed out already. What I was going to do here was produce a ton of banelings. That's a lot of banelings. Okay, that is a lot of banelings, and I was just going to throw myself at him and then remax incredibly quickly. I think that's a really good way of doing things with Zerg, obviously, and I don't know if he spotted me. Let's check his view quickly. This must be pretty scary from his view, because this engagement went incredibly well for me. If I just pause here, switch to my view, you'll see now that I spotted him coming into range, and I sort of moved out at the right time. Okay, his tanks were, I don't know, his tanks were at the back, they were sieged up nicely, but he didn't move back far enough. He didn't stop, he didn't load up those Marines. You can see his entire army got decimated. I got a bunch of nice fungals. He probably wouldn't have gotten away already, anyway, not already. But here's the point where I feel that I could have definitely won it a lot sooner. Sure, I could have won it 10 minutes ago already. I probably should have, especially if I had sort of used more than just Zerglings and Mutalisks, and then obviously Banelings, but they sort of count as Zerglings anyway. But as you can see, I have 4 bases up and running which aren't fully saturated. Just gonna pause quickly and show you. That's bad. Let's have a look at this one. That's bad too. Over here, this one's about to be mined out. Not that great either, and there's nothing mining here anymore. So I could have done a lot, but let's just look what he's doing. Okay, he's in the same league as me. That's pretty amazing. Okay, that's perfect. Let's have a look at this one. Oh my goodness, this guy, he's so much better than me. Okay. So what I think this comes down to is this win of mine. And, oh no, I just spoiled it. But, yes, I'm going to win this now. But this win of mine sort of came down to, I want to say I controlled my units better. Okay, maybe I came from a Warcraft background and this guy came from a StarCraft background, which is the case. I did come from a Warcraft background. I controlled my units a little bit better. The fights went my way. My positioning was okay. This right here wasn't that great. Okay, let's just ignore this. My infestors were dying needlessly. My zerglings were being wasted. I did kill all his stuff, but it's just because I had a lot more supply than him. He lost a lot more than me. I was re-maxing quickly. A lot of zerglings coming out. 46 coming in there. I think the only reason my saving grace here was that my micro was okay. My decision making was terrible. My macro wasn't that great. I don't know. What do you guys think? I talk about macro while I'm looking at 1,800 gas and counting. That's bad. That's really, really bad. It just didn't work out so well. But you can see the game is going to be over now. He's got this base fully up and running, but you know, I'm about to sort of start camping up in his production facilities, so he's not going to be able to produce anything. I've sort of got him trapped. He can't reach this base from here without passing by my units, so I've got him now. That's it. But yes, the reason for this, using this game, showcasing this game, is again one point that I always try to drive across is, if you play in Zerg, you should probably be as aggressive as you can when you can afford it. Because, like, for myself, I don't know if I'm maybe better suited to play in a different race. Who knows? I've only played Zerg so far properly. But I make so many mistakes that it just ends up maybe not being worth it. Anyway, let me know what you guys think about the game below. It's about to end, as you can see. This guy didn't have such good control. His micro was not that great. His marines were always out of place. My spending was terrible. All the other stuff in my game was terrible. There you go, he GG'd. But I'd like to have your input. So let me know. That's the end of this one. I'll try get a few more up as soon as I can. This one was a bit longer than the others, sorry. But it was still, in my opinion, a pretty interesting game. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and check back here soon for more.